What do you want?
The views and opinions expressed in the following podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the DVM production empire. That's how you know it's good.
You're listening to the DVM production empire. Packed with content, millions of downloads, taking the world by force. Join the empire today at dvmpe.com.
Groovy.
It was dark times for the elves of Farfindale. Podlaw had reached the land, throwing a once bright and shiny place into a pit of darkness, ruled at will by the killer rabbit of Caerbannog, his son, turning us all against one another and bringing us to a very starry nightmare.
Jeffrey!
Ma'am, I'm busy.
Oh, I know you're busy. You're playing with your Knights of Farfindale?
They're the elves of Farfindale.
Okay, you know
they're going through a very typical time, much like myself.
Okay, well, speaking of scary times, you know what time it is, right?
Is it time to let me do my thing and live my life?
No, it's your snacky time.
Is it?
Did you check your blood sugar?
I didn't check my blood sugar, Mom, because I didn't have to.
Well, we're gonna get you a pudding. You open the door. I'll get you a pudding.
You haven't said the secret word.
I'm not doing this with you right now, Jeff.
You gotta say the secret word to get into the land of Farfindale.
Hymen.
There you go.
There, now eat your pudding.
Is this butterscotch?
Yeah, it's butterscotch.
You know, I don't like butterscotch.
Well, I put some chocolate in it.
Okay, well,
just mix it up real well.
I realized you had to take the extra step if you just bought chocolate snack packs.
Well, I don't like them. I like the butterscotch. You're not the only pudding eater in this house, mister.
I'm just saying. It's just easier this way.
Why do you have so many socks next to your computer?
What?
All of your socks.
My feet get cold. Mom, I gotta go. The elves of Farfindale are in the middle of something.
Okay, well, you have fun. You know, don't play with yourself too hard in here.
What's going on, Empire? This is Stupid's Talking Stupid on the DVM Production Empire. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Bear, and we read the stupid, so you don't have to.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. We biffed the first two podcast intros.
But whatever.
We finally have come around. Knock the dust off. We wanted to bring you this episode last week, but there was a little bit of
But there's snow.
Snow everywhere.
Lots of snow.
And it couldn't physically get here. So we had to push it back a little bit. But now we're gonna get you a nice big old helping of stupid. So you sit back in your chair, maybe in your car, you recline the seat just like a couple of notches, not too much.
Unless you're driving, don't do that.
Hey, you can recline a little bit when you're driving.
Just gonna lean back.
Yeah, that's how you know you're cool when you're driving. Like the lower you are while still being able to see, super cool. I bet your seat's like all the way up, and there's like a memory foam back, so you have to sit up even further.
Look at the beads.
You old bitch. But yeah.
No, I got a little bit of lean back. Not too much though.
You're not
I get
too
drowsy
cool.
while I sleep.
Oh yeah, you fell asleep while driving. Got in a car accident.
Is that true?
Yeah, you fell asleep, and then someone hit you.
I was asleep and then someone hit me.
Yep.
Anyway.
You killed a turtle that day?
It's not even true.
Yeah. You think it would happen when you ran over it or something. No. He was just so shocked that you would do it. Saw it and go, oh no! And he fell over and never righted himself up.
Not even true.
That is pretty much exactly how it happened.
If you fell asleep and then somebody hit you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been fine. Ruined my nap.
That son of a bitch.
I was sleeping.
I don't know what his problem is. I don't wake him up from his naps.
Right.
He just came into my blind spot, my napping blind spot, so you know I wasn't looking for him. Right. He just nailed me.
Jerk.
Now, we're going to go ahead and start off with The third time we are talking about this topic. And if you're hoping for goat yoga, I'm sorry, we're talking about...
Nope, and if you're hoping for cat wine...
Listen, cat wine has been brought up like 8 or 9 times now.
And it's not going to be a 10th, because that's not what we're talking about.
I was talking about the third time. Okay?
Okay.
The third time. That's right. We're talking about Tide Pods again.
Yay.
Because it just gets stupider. First, we had babies eating them because they're like, I'm a baby and I'm going to eat this. Because that's what babies do. They eat things. Don't put poison in the hands of babies. So I figure let's just put Tide Pods up on a shelf and that'll be the end of it. That's when the old dementia motherfuckers came in. They're like, hey, this is candy.
Is this my pill?
Yes, Harold, that's your pill.
This seems awfully large for my pill.
Okay.
It's got a lot of color in it, though.
Oh, well, my vision is gone.
So
Your
pill
pill is in that room. If you're in that room, that's where your pill is. Just put whatever's in there.
I don't know.
In
The
your mouth.
last time I had one of those salt pellets that you put on the ground, or a water softener, and it turned out, it ended up cleaning me out pretty good, but I'm just saying.
I was just impressed that you ate the whole thing. It took you like 4 days.
I was so thirsty later. So you sure this is my pill?
Couldn't hurt.
What's it say? Tade.
Yeah, Tade Pharmaceuticals. I know them.
Okay, there you go. I got it. It's frothy.
Yeah, it's that new millennial medicine. It's all the froth.
It's all the froth.
They said it's like gravy. We got the froth of the gravy of the medicine.
Why are your eyes closed?
I'm getting into character. Remember, I lost my ability to see. But I can get into character.
Method.
Yes. Slowly slipping into Al Pacino. Centerfold.
Right? Ooh-ah. Take a Tide Pod.
Eat your Tide Pod, kid.
Boo-ah.
So, people were eating... Innocently, people were eating them because they're stupid. They're either a baby or they got dementia. Either way, they're thinking like they're 2 years old, and they just want to eat everything. Then came the phase of, well, what if we just eat these for YouTube views? I'll be so popular if I do that. We are in stage...
Okay.
We are in stage 3.
I say okay.
New York lawmakers now want to require the companies behind the Tide Pods to individually wrap each packet and change the colorful design so they appeal less to children.
But there's not children that are eating them anymore.
I understand this, but they are trying to push through a bill. Assemblywoman Aravelia Simotas and Senator Brad Hoyland, both from New York City, wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble, who owns the Tide Pod brand, urging them to take their own steps to make the product safer. And if that won't happen, they're going to try to pass a bill that forces them to. Simotas says, we want to make sure these poisonings are prevented. It's easy. All we have to make sure is the public safety trumps their profits. So their idea is the bill would add detergent packets to other hazardous household products by requiring child-resistant packaging and clear labels. So there is a problem with really young kids and then old people with dementia eating these things. I feel like you put it up on a shelf, that completely eliminates the problem of kids getting into them. With dementia people, I don't know, maybe lock the cabinets that have all the chemicals in them.
Yeah.
Enlarge your detergent, even in liquid form or in powder form.
No one's eating that, though.
You don't know that. You don't know their life.
Didn't I hear that they were, discontinuing, or was that a rumor?
That was a rumor.
Okay, good. Because I was a little upset. I was like, I'm going to go buy all that I can get, because I love those things.
You use them?
Yeah.
I use the pods for my dishwasher.
We have those, too. We have little Cascade packs.
Yeah, those are great.
So
You never hear an issue of someone eating a Cascade pod. It's always a Tide Pod.
I just honestly, I like it. I just take it, throw it in, done.
You don't have an issue with throwing in something that's like the packaging. It's going to dissolve, and maybe it doesn't dissolve all the way, and then you end up with a little thing stuck to your shirt you didn't realize.
No, I don't care.
I'm not a big fan of it. We need to impose clear warning labels on all packaging, including each pod. They want to label each individual pod that says, "Don't eat this; it's poison."
Right.
Procter & Gamble is saying that there is nothing new in these legislative proposals, things that they haven't already taken steps to rectify. The company said that it already makes the packages child-resistant and found review of data from the Poison Control Center that color does not play a critical role in children's accidental exposure to laundry packs. Basically, kids don't care what color it is. They just think, can I put this in my mouth? And they do it.
Right. But we're not talking about kids, though.
I know.
We're talking about relatively grown-up individuals who are just stupid and maybe don't deserve to live.
They are.
I'm sorry.
I understand. I understand your frustration with it. I understand everyone's confusion with why anyone would do this. I got a copy of the. Well, they made this release. It's a 4-page thing. I'm just going to read you a few of the things from it. Let's see right here. So they sent a letter to Procter & Gamble calling on the company to overhaul its colorful liquid detergent Tide Pods and urging passage of their bill to create stronger safety regulations for liquid detergent packages. Citing over 10,000 incidents involving young children in 2017, Simotis and Hoyland argued that the company's efforts to date, including the addition of a bittering agent, child-proof containers, and some warning labels, have fallen short. So they've already made it. They made the poison taste like poison before you eat the poison. So they made the package taste bitter as fuck. Right. They've made child-resistant containers.
They did the double zipper thing because they needed to. Because just opening up the...
While super convenient, made it a little too convenient for kids to go into. And they also put warning labels on there saying, "This is... Seriously, don't eat this. Are you stupid? Stop it." But it's not enough. It's not enough for these two. What point
do you think the company's done enough? And now it's just natural selection.
That's why I have this story, and it's kind of a theme throughout today's episode.
Oh yeah,
yeah. At some point, we gotta just stop listening to everyone who's complaining about everything and start letting people try to be an adult on their own.
Right.
There's a lot of hand-holding and everyone trying to fix everyone else's problems that weren't problems, or they're not things that you should be worried about. So this is the same instance of if your kid plays rated R or like unrated video games when they're 12 years old and they start cursing around the house like my video games taught my kids how to swear. Like, well, you gave them the video game. This is your fault. This is just a parenting issue. No one wants to hear that they're doing a bad job parenting. What kind of parent you go up to? Hey, your kid's a little shit. It's your fault. What? I do everything. I do everything. You don't bring up this attitude with me. I take care of my kids.
Take care of my chillins.
So some of the things they want are child-resistant wrappers for liquid detergent packets. So they want to put a package inside of a package inside of a package. They want clear warning labels and uniform colors to make the packets less visually appealing. I don't know why I keep on messing those two up. We got a few people giving their little leaning their support towards it. One of them saying toxic substances like these laundry pods should not be packaged to look like candy or toys which lure children to put them in their mouths. Even though the industry has adopted voluntary standards, they are not working, and it's now clear why we need a law to lessen the risk of poisonings. As a legislator and a mother, I am angry that convenience and marketing have been exalted over the safety of children and people with dementia.
Put it in your mouth, it's frothy, and it'll clean your clothes for you. The Tide Pad. The Tide Pad can.
Another one says, as the parent of 2 young kids, I'm very concerned about the safety of liquid detergent package, which look and smell like candy. They don't
smell like candy.
It makes no sense to me that with nearly 30 incidents a day, manufacturers still haven't made these products safe. It's way past time to fix these products or remove them altogether from store shelves.
No.
Now, you think of the children, Patrick.
Teach your children not to be stupid.
No, when you
teach your children well, not to be dumb, and eat the Tad Pads.
They might end up ingesting or inhaling. They are. I'm trying to just. There's a lot of these ones. I'm trying to get through it real quick. It causes inhaling or ingesting the detergent causes vomiting, chemical burns, respiratory distress, seizures.
Caesars?
Yeah, they give them salad. Like, no, I wanted a cob. Loss of consciousness, fluid in the lungs, and even death. Dunk dunk. Law and Order. You did what now? Edition. My son ate a Tide Pod. I'm sorry, he did what now?
I want Tide Pods. Anyway.
In my mouth. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
What's that?
You always ruin this song for me. I get halfway through the chorus. We get another person saying, it's no joke or passing fad that poison control centers get thousands of calls, chemicals in single wash packets. Children and adults with cognitive impairments
it's all the rage.
Are at risk of death and serious injury from these items that are attractive to kids and can look like food. I'm sorry, what food do you eat that has blue and orange swirls? The thing is, they have a version of the Tide Pods that are all there. It's just plain white. Like they have it already.
Yeah.
You can buy that, people. You can buy the one without the fun colors that make them tasty looking to your children. Your stupid children that you didn't teach not to eat poison.
Okay, bear with me.
I'll Patrick with you.
Maybe if they had them shaped like broccoli. Little packets come out, they're shaped like various mixed vegetables.
It's like, well,
and the kids aren't going to want them.
I have a load of delicates, so give me 3 lima beans.
3 lima beans, and a baby carrot.
I'm going to wash my my gym clothes. What do I need for my gym clothes?
You're going to need a couple pieces of broccoli.
Okay.
And then like one of those cauliflower florets.
Okay. Now, I just got back from camping for 2 days, and I wore the same clothes. I need to wear them tonight. How can I get them fresh? What do I use?
Zucchini.
Oh, the zucchini one. It's like a 2-pound zucchini. Yeah, this will work.
Just put it in. It'll dissolve. Don't worry.
You might have to run the wash 7 times. But it'll eventually dissolve. Yeah, you're just have a giant zucchini shape on your shirt. You're like, well, I guess that's clean.
I knew it.
Would you like to hear the letter that they wrote?
Oh, sure. To whom it may concern.
Dear Mr. Taylor. That's the CEO of Procter & Gamble.
Do you want some violin music to go behind this?
Maybe some like some kind of like distressed music, like like in a cartoon of like a poor kid or.
Okay.
We'll make it easy. So you got the time. Okay.
Yeah. Go.
Dear Mr. Taylor, we write to urge you to alter the appearance and packaging of your Tide Pods detergent packets. We have been concerned about accidental poisonings from detergent pods among young children and people suffering from dementia for over 2 years and have introduced legislation to lessen poisoning risks. There is renewed opportunity and urgency at this moment in time. As you know, teenagers and young adults across the country have been engaging in the Tide Pod Challenge, an alarming social media stunt that involves the deliberate ingestion of its detergent packet. We are encouraged by your willingness to meet with our offices and to take steps to stem child poisoning from... There's a lot of yelling in the background, and it's very confusing to me. I'm going to go ahead and start this over. We are encouraged by your willingness to meet with our offices and to take steps to stem child poisoning through voluntary measures such as bittering agents and warning labels on the external packaging. However, these steps have failed. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Sincerely.
The recent Tide Pod Challenge has created a new category of victims with 86 cases of intentional exposure in the first 3 weeks of 2018 alone. While your recent public service campaign to stem the video Tide Pod challenge is to be commended, it falls far short of what is needed to prevent the continuing problem of accidental poisonings as opposed to intentional ingestions by teenager. There's a lot more, blah blah blah. You should probably put bigger warnings on it. La la la. We're just a bunch of bitches.
Sincerely, a bunch of bitches.
A bunch of bitches. They want people to use a stronger bittering agent because, you know, the first one works so well.
They're the ones that want you to change TV.
Reduce the pleasant smell. Was it written in here?
No, it's a cleaning product.
Listen.
My baby is obsessed with pine trees. She drank an entire thing of pine salt. If only it didn't smell like pine. It should have just been salt.
Your Honor, my client is clearly distressed because she raised her daughter to appreciate nature, and nature is what caused her undoing.
My baby loves pine.
Her baby loves pine, and since this is the Pacific Northwest, we are full of pine trees, so there was murder waiting at every corner.
Dun, dun.
We must cut down these forests to protect our delicious-smelling cleaning agents and hold her personally accountable. I've turned on my clients in the biggest heel move of 2018.
Then I'm gonna hit her with a chair.
And I hit her baby with a chair. Stop, she's already dead. I know, she's tapping out like a bitch. It's a coffin match, and I have retained the title.
The baby's hurt. That went awkward.
Listen, if you're gonna pull work like that, you might as well go big or go home.
And on that note, we'll be right back.
Promo code DVMPE at collarandelbowbrand.com.
Right for all your baby hitting attire.
Listen, if you're gonna hit a baby, you might as well hit him with an elbow.
That's right. Right in the collar.
Right in the collar.
No, I own a lot of that stuff. That stuff's great.
You own some baby hitting gear?
Baby hitting it. No, I don't think he meant it for that. I mean, it's whatever you end up using it for. I will start my new wrestling career as the baby hitter.
I'm sorry. Did you say the baby Hitler?
Baby hitter.
Oh, okay.
And then my finishing move is called the Rockabye Baby.
Is that where you go up on the top rope?
And I go in my cradle.
Swaddle them.
And then I said, and now the cradle falls. And then I throw them down.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a storybook finish. Speaking of storybooks.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the tale of Peter Rabbit?
Sure.
Do you know that there's a movie?
Yes.
Do you know the movie perpetuates violence?
I've heard.
Oh my God. This is another story of people with too much time on their hands.
The recent books of Peter Rabbit have been written by Emma Thompson.
I didn't know that.
That's true.
Well, now I don't want to do the story in case it besmirches her.
She's unbesmirchable. I don't know. That's weird.
You're like, oh my God, what if they find out I just made up a word? Yeah, because that's the worst thing that could just happen in the last few minutes of this podcast.
Emma Thompson comes kicking in the door. And it's for Grandma.
She puts you in a wrestling move. It's the unbesmirchable.
Oh God, it's a baby.
She's dressed.
She's doing the Rockabye Baby.
It's a reverse Rockabye Baby. She's curled up in a ball on the ground and then jumps up into your arms and knocks you backwards.
She's agile as fuck.
Man, that baby can jump.
That baby can jump.
So there is major insensitivity and controversy around around Peter Rabbit. That
James Corden's voice is that, right?
I do not know much about the movie. I don't really care for it. It's not really something I'm like, I gotta know more about this. So I forgot this was a movie until this story came out.
They're doing James Corden. They're also doing, or I think that James Corden is, but I think he's also doing Paddington.
Maybe. I don't know.
Paddington's a movie too.
Oh yeah, no, Paddington 2 is like the most highly reviewed movie or whatever.
James
So
Corden.
The modern Peter Rabbit has been described as a frat bro,
Yeah, he's Peter Rabbit.
a raging narcissist, and a vandal who escalates a feud to a, quote, truly sadistic display of violence.
Takes all the carrots and exchanges them with Tide Pods.
No, that probably would have been better because it didn't target someone's precious little Connors.
Oh, no.
So,
I don't know if our audience knows what that means.
Connor is the name that you give to a kid that's just the biggest piece of shit. Like, if you're out in public and there's some kid running around, like, screaming, knocking people over, breaking shit.
That kid's name is Connor.
That kid's name is Connor. Connor, get over here. Stop that. So any kid that's just the worst is a Connor. Being a Connor, doing a Connor, acting like a Connor. It's Connor.
Connor shit.
Now, if you have a kid named Connor, I'm sure they're nice and they're great and they're awesome and they're wonderful. But every other kid...
Yeah, we're not talking about your...
Yeah, we're not talking about your Connor. It's Connors. So one Connor's fine. So when we get into the multiples, that's like, now they're the worst. So we got a story. Breaking news. A rabbit with his nemesis, Mr. McGregor. They're facing off in this movie. I didn't watch the movie, but I saw someone do a recap of the scene. Essentially, Mr. McGregor is trying to kill Peter and his friends, like legitimately kill them.
Yeah.
So their way of fighting back is to shoot. Well, I get this right because it's very important. Blackberries. They start pelting him with blackberries. Okay. And you think, wow, that's not that big of a deal, right? Wrong. He's allergic to blackberries.
Oh, no.
Yes, this could seriously hurt him. In fact, they shoot one in his mouth.
He goes into anaphylactic shock.
And he has to take an EpiPen out and stab himself in the leg. Because they attacked his food allergy.
It's brutal shit, man.
It is. But, I mean, he was just trying to legitimately murder them.
Yeah.
And
I think the plot is basically like the garden used to be open, and now he's moved in.
And he closed it off?
And he closed it off. And so it's kind of like, don't be a dick. What are you doing? And then a lot of animals taking my vegetables. And it's like, yeah, but you can share.
So the scene prompted backlash immediately from allergy advocacy groups. I have to say that kind of shit now. 5 years ago, I don't know if we could have done this podcast on a weekly basis. It'd have to be like once a month.
Yeah.
But now it's just it gets worse every day.
There's so much stupid.
So it's groups and parents of children with food allergies who said it mocked an attack that in real life could have proved fatal. I want you to remember this part. They were upset that they mocked an attack that in real life could prove fatal. These are the same people bringing their kids to see Deadpool.
Right.
Nothing about that movie is wrong. Wait a second. You mean shooting someone in the head in person can lead to could be proved fatal? You're just making a mockery of that?
On a side note, that trailer looks awesome.
Oh god, yeah. I can't wait for that movie to come out. So they're freaking out. We even got a hashtag out because everyone wants to get a hashtag. I want you to guess the hashtag. What's the hashtag if you want to go after this Peter Rabbit movie?
Hashtag beat her rabbit.
No.
Hashtag
boycott Peter Rabbit.
Oh, that's really on the nose, isn't it?
It really is.
A rabbit nose.
No, it's such a small nose for you to get it right. It must have been perfect. They freaked out so much that Sony Pictures had to issue an apology and joint statement with the filmmakers, saying that food allergies are a serious issue and the film, quote, should not have made light of a character being allergic to blackberries, even in a cartoonish slapstick way.
Knock it off. I'm allergic to blackberries.
God, what are you doing? It's just, what if someone wanted to be like that to me?
It would be terrible. Don't do it.
We can't have any movie anymore because what if someone acts like that in real life?
Right.
Can't have anything that makes fun of disease.
Nope.
Can't do anything that... Can't do any kind of killing in movies. And I don't know. I guess their problem is that it's just in a kids movie, and you're mocking the kids, and the kids can't help it. And the kids, because of the kids, the kids, they're just gonna be shooting Tide Pods at people. And like, what if that happens in real life? You just expect us to not have the Tide Pods all strewn about the house, and they smell like candy. When I smell candy, I think, lemon pledge.
Oh Lord.
In a post shared on Facebook by the group Kids with Food Allergies Foundation, they condemned the scene, calling it disturbing. Such food allergy jokes, the group said, are harmful to our community.
Well, they're worried that the kids are going to be like,
I think that's the quote.
Blackberries, I'm allergic, but they did it, look what happened.
And then some kid chimes out, I'm allergic to blueberries. All berries matter. Yes. Found a way to make it worse. That's how we do it. Oh, stupid, talking stupid. Ding, ding, ding. Stupid. Menendez, president and chief executive of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, wrote... Yeah, he is the president and chief of that guy. That's a really long business card.
Yeah, right.
In parentheses, there's a wheeze.
And then he turns it over and then it folds down.
He wrote an open letter to Sony Pictures Entertainment, Sony Pictures Animation, Columbia Pictures, and Animal Logic, saying the movie suggests that food allergies are made up for attention.
It doesn't, though. They're using it as a weapon.
They are. I don't know what to tell you, man. And a weapon to stop them from dying. The very real fear and anxiety that people experience during an allergic reaction, often referred to as an impending sense of doom, is a serious matter. Making light of this condition hurts our members because it encourages the public not to take the risk of allergic reactions seriously, and this cavalier attitude may make them act in ways that would put an allergic person in danger. We would welcome the opportunity to educate your company and the cast of the movie about the realities of food allergy so they and your viewing audience can better understand and recognize the gravity of the disease.
I'd love to see James Corden at that. He's like, I'm sorry, what are we doing here?
He would film it for his show.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that'd be so good. Yeah.
I was going to say, I love that guy. I love when he does Sidewalk Broadway or Crosswalk Broadway.
You don't even know what it's called, and you're saying you like it?
It's the best.
Or is it?
Like, they perform Broadway musicals during a light.
The only time I saw that is when they did Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Because like they had the actual cast do it and everything.
And then they're like, Ron! That was great, everybody.
Well, you know it's not great.
What?
Motherfuckers being up in your business.
Oh, yeah. That's universally not good.
Pretty sure that's the definition. Like in the dictionary, when it's like motherfuckers being up in your business, and they look under it, and they're like, oh, it's not good. Okay. It's good to know.
Yeah, universally, that is not a good thing.
If you had...
Stay out of my bed, that's my bed.
If you had your own house...
Okay.
Would you, what color would you paint it?
I think a gray. Like a...
Okay, now let's say the city comes in and says, we don't like that your house is gray. It's a distraction. You have to paint it or we're going to fine you every day until you do.
I'd say too bad.
I'm going to fine you $250 a day.
What?
Nancy Nemhauser and Ludmir Jastrzewski.
Sure, that's the pronunciation.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, you guys don't even, you can't read. If you could read it, you'd say it's the perfect thing. Like, they even said, good job, Bear, even when they were writing this. It's in parentheses, you couldn't tell. It's in Florida, so you know it's great. We get an O Florida, but this time Florida's being the dick to someone who lives there, not the other way around. Initially, they were getting fined $250 a day, but in December, it was finally reduced to $1,000 a day. They're getting fined.
Wait, they were getting fined what?
$250 a day.
And then it got
Reduced to $100
Oh,
a day.
you said 1,000 before. I was like, that's more. I don't think you know.
I don't think I said that, and even if I did, you heard it wrong, and the recording's wrong, and I'm right. So, like I said, every single time it was reduced to $100 a day. $100 a day. They initially were going to cap the fines at 31 days, but Magistrate David Tegeller ruled that the city of Mount Dora can continue imposing the daily fines until the house is repainted.
What's wrong with the house?
It is covered in a mural of Starry Night, the famous painting for Starry Night. Yes.
So what?
It's
Don't you like art?
Well, that's the problem. The city is saying it's a distraction, and it makes for an unsafe situation.
People are gonna be like, "Oh my god, I had that same poster on my wall."
Well, the thing is, the homeowners, Nancy and Ludimir, painted it because they did it for their son, who's an adult with autism that they hope to have move into the house. So they want to give him a house that he can, like, I don't know.
Okay.
Look, what?
People do weird shit for weird shit. Doesn't matter. It's their property.
Wow, are you saying that I'm autism weird?
I'm just saying.
You know what you call it? Discrimination?
I'm saying they do weird shit for weird reasons.
That's a weird reason. It can't be a normal reason.
No, it doesn't matter. It's their house.
And that's
reason they want to do it.
We get another issue of people just sticking their nose in other people's shit for no fucking reason. It's not like this is a homeowner association. This is just the town saying, it's distracting, paint your house. So you have to paint your house an acceptable color to live in this town, or you get fined thousands of dollars. They're up to right now, over $8,000 is their current state.
Sue me. You're not coming.
They're in court. They feel their constitutional rights are being violated, so their attorney, Jeremy Talcott, said they don't plan to pay any fines until they've exhausted every option in court, saying this was only as to an imposition of fines, and we still have the appeal going forward as to the underlying violation itself, and that's the far more important issue going forward as to whether or not this ordinance can lawfully and constitutionally be applied to the house. They said that other things in the city have... Where is it? There's art on other homes, other buildings in the city, in the residential district as well. So why are we being chastised for ours when we did what we were told we had to do to keep the wall that our son loves? So it's not even the entire house. It's just one big wall covered with the mural. But because it's visible to people who are driving or something, it's unsafe for the city.
There's this cool X-Men mural downtown, like on the north side of Chicago, and every time I drive by it, I'm like, oh my god, it's great. But I don't find it to be distracting.
Well, if you got in an accident, you could blame it, apparently. If you lived in Florida. Did you see about the lawsuit that some artists in New York just won because the street art that they had painted on a building got destroyed? No. There was a guy that owned this building that I guess it was abandoned or whatever for a while. So a bunch of street artists went spray painted murals and designs and everything in there, and it looked like it was covered up by a bunch of spray painted pictures, but it was an empty building, so nothing's going on. But now the owner of it wants to do something with it, so he's going to destroy the building. He had to get permission to destroy his own building because there was other people's artwork already on it. He was getting approval, and he would have been approved to take it down later in the year.
But then he had a Tide Pod.
But he gave the building a Tide Pod, and the building got knocked down. So he got dinged in court for like $7 million.
What?
He had to pay $7 million to these artists who drew on his building
Illegally?
Or
did he commission them?
He did not commission it.
Okay.
It was either abandoned and then it was done when no one owned it, or like no one was taking care of it. He bought it and then wanted to do it, or at the time he just didn't give a shit. He wasn't doing anything with it, and then now he's like, okay, well, it's my building, so I'm going to knock it down. He has to pay like $7 million to those artists now.
It's ridiculous.
So you can't paint your place. You can't let other people paint your place. You just screwed either way,
Right.
because who gives a shit anymore? And now possibly the funniest story. So prosecutors in South Carolina have dropped charges against a woman who I kind of want to play fill in the blank here because it's a little ridiculous, and I don't think you can get this.
Tomato.
Close. So they dropped charges of disorderly conduct and wearing a mask on a public street against Nicole Wells of Charleston. So that was the charge, wearing a mask on a public street and disorderly conduct. She had been arrested after wearing... What kind of costume was she wearing at the time of her arrest?
She a clown.
No. I'll give you two more guesses.
The guy from Scream.
No. I want you to think of a very popular costume that's not scary. Well, it could be scary, but for the most part, it's just kind of fun.
Elmo?
Nope. She was dressed up as a T-Rex. She's running around in a T-Rex costume. She got arrested. You're like, why would she get arrested for disorderly conduct for being a T-Rex?
I watched a T-Rex snow plowing the other day on TV.
Nice. She stepped out in front of a blank and growled.
A bus.
Think less advanced.
Was advanced in a bus?
Mm-hmm.
A horse carriage.
Yes.
Yes!
Hauling 16 sightseers last May. And then the operator fell out of the carriage when the horses backed up and the wheels broke the man's foot.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this woman jumps out in a T-Rex costume and scares the horses. So the operator ends up falling over and getting his foot run over.
My favorite is the walk with the dinosaurs Velociraptor that meets people at like elevators.
Yeah, the one where it's like a person's legs are coming out and they haven't covered, but then it's like a full on like real giant fucking thing. Yeah, but it's just a giant puppet essentially.
It's from Walk with the Dinosaurs.
Sure.
You know,
I've seen it so many places that I don't know where it's from anymore, you know.
Right.
When I read this story, and I was like, let me check the name on this. Okay, it's not Emily. But then I'm like, well, if I bring up this story, then she's going to have an idea of, well, I could probably jump in front of a carriage in my day. So the prosecutors, they did not explain their decision to drop the charges, but Palmetto Carriage Works general manager Tommy Doyle says the company is still considering a lawsuit against her because she is the reason he got hurt.
I can kind of see that.
You could argue that it's definitely her fault.
Yeah, she it's the equivalent of jumping in front of a car and causing an accident.
Yeah.
You know,
jumped in front of a horse carriage and scared the horses as a T-Rex. What do you think those horses felt like at the end of the day? Sue, you're not going to believe what happened to us.
A dinosaur.
There's a dinosaur. Like, I know you said that they're gone, and like your uncle's uncle told you about him. We saw one. He jumped at us, and it roared, and it ran away like a bitch.
We're suing it.
And if that part of the legal system and the government isn't worrying you enough, we have attorney Michael Haddock in Michigan. He's a lawyer, so he's he's not just like some meth head that's trying to get any buck they can on the side.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are some kind of lawyers, but whatever. But this is not his doing. He got a notice from the Michigan Unemployment Insurance Agency that someone that lives with him will be receiving a $360 a week benefit.
Okay.
It was addressed to a Michael Ryder, And now since he's Michael Haddock, he's like, oh, I'm Michael. The only writer here is my dog.
Right.
His dog is getting $360 a week in unemployment benefits. How many people get denied for this shit all the time, and then suddenly he just gets a free, like a notice out of the blue, hey, your dog's been approved for...
He's worked hard his entire life.
All 4 years.
It's dog-eat-dog world.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I hate you. I'm not even... I don't even want to go through the rest of that story. So there was a missing woman from Humboldt County, California. Mm-hmm. Back on November 18th, Rebecca Martinez, a 22-year-old, was reported missing by her mother, who said her daughter had gone to Humboldt County to work on a marijuana farm.
Okay.
The mother had phone contact with Becca via a friend on the 12th, and then Becca told her she was coming to Humboldt County to work on the farm, and she wouldn't be able to contact her for a week or so. So she's like, okay, for at least a week, if not more, can't contact you, don't freak out. And then about a week ago... I fucking hate you. The North Coast Journal ran a story entitled The Humboldt 35. Why does Humboldt County have the highest rate of missing persons reported in the state?
That's a good question.
Which they shared on the social media and asked readers if they recognized anyone. Thankfully, a woman looking at that immediately identified Rebecca Martinez as a contestant on the current season of The Bachelor. This woman thought her child was missing, but no, she's just... Sorry, Mom, I ran away to join reality television.
I didn't want you to worry about me.
I don't want to tell her I'm going to go be on TV.
I'm going to go somewhere that she'll find
I'm going to go work on
appropriate.
I'm going to go work on a drug farm, okay?
Well, as long as it's something, worthwhile.
As long as you're safe.
As long as you're safe. I don't want one of those reality shows. Those
are gateway.
I hear that Flavor Flav is a real tough guy to work for.
So the newspaper contacted the sheriff's office, and they figured it out. Oh, yeah, no, this is the woman. She's not missing. She's just on TV. Becca had to went on Twitter saying, "Mom, how many times do I have to tell you I don't get cell service on The Bachelor?" Like, how are you going to call in a missing persons report when your daughter's just on TV?
Good Lord.
Maybe
they brainwashed her with the roses.
She was always Lily's girl. And you turned her against me.
I just like the idea of because you get this idea, yeah. Like they're during a rose ceremony, and then the fucking SWAT team comes in.
Will you take down, everybody down?
Is that flashbang? I give you this. Why would you give me that? It's so loud.
Is this part of it? Is this part of it?
Production value has gone up so high. I didn't think I'd be on the year of the twist. And she thinks the whole time it's part of the show.
The girl's hair standing up because it's got blown.
She's got Daffy Duck face. It's all
I
black
didn't
marks.
know that being in love would be this difficult.
They say when you fall, you feel it. I want to marry you.
I didn't know that it'd be ringing.
That must be the wedding bells. Because it's right here. I'm sure you all hear it. Just finger in the air going, what? What?
You're going to give me this what? No, it's right. I have one.
And the whole time they're using her real name because, it's a reality show. So she's like, oh, this is still part of it. Went from the roast ceremony to the interrogation. This is impressive. This is only the third week of the show. I can't imagine what they're going to do with the final. They might shoot us out of an airplane.
I did not want my mom to worry, so I told her I was working for a drug farm.
I'm not trying to portray cannabis in a bad way, but it's just I don't want to lie about being on reality TV, so I'm gonna go. Oh, what does Mom like? Well, what does Mom hate? Reality TV. What does she love?
Drugs.
Well, I'm going to tell her I'm going to go do the best thing ever. Like if she was a huge Disney fan, you say, I'm going to go work at Disney for a couple weeks, and they don't allow cell phones. So,
Bye.
I mean, unless they keep me on, then I'll be back week to week until they eliminate me. What do you mean eliminate? I just mean like if I can't do a good job being Minnie. Like then if you go, you won't even be able to tell it's me because I'll be in costume and I have to be in character the whole time.
Never pretend not to know you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and if I scream, "Don't touch me, there, lady! I'm not your daughter." That's just I'm really into character.
Yeah, because Mickey Mouse is not your daughter.
Yeah. Kind of makes you want to blow up the world.
No, no.
Oh. Okay, maybe we won't. Because Washington State defensive lineman Logan Tago recently was named the recipient of the Fall 2017 Community Involvement Award, which is given up by the University's Center for Civic Engagement. He completed 200, this is a football player, completed 240 hours of community service around the city of Pullman and Palouse communities.
But it wasn't like court mandated.
Psych! This isn't a ray of light after all. Back in 2016, Tago, then 19, was arrested and charged with second-degree felony robbery and fourth-degree assault after he punched a man in the head and stole a six-pack of beer from him. He accepted a plea bargain, and the charge was lowered to third-degree assault, not a felony, and he was ordered to spend 30 days in jail and do 240 hours of community service. So now, the Center for Civic Engagement, completely forgetting why he's doing all this community service. Like, man, this guy tallied 240.
Nice guy.
He's so great. Would you like to be around my children?
It's like, oh my god, who's forcing you to do this?
No one.
Oh, the court?
Just
the
love
shit.
just the love of the people and the children.
The court is.
Oh, he was court mandated to do 240 hours of community service. And then once his punishment was done, they gave him a decorated award for being such a valuable person to the community.
I take it back. Blow up the world.
I saw that story. I'm like, oh my god, I can bamboozle him. A bamboozlement for the ray of light. Okay, I do have a ray of light though.
Okay.
It's a better thing that you can do from when you're in college. The University of Wisconsin-Madison, what are you thinking? Well, it doesn't sound like that prestigious of a school. It ranks 44th in a six-way tie overall with colleges. There's 1,000 of them, so top 50, pretty damn good. Last year, when they were doing the study, it was probably 2 years ago, University of Wisconsin-Madison ranked 11th among publics and 41st overall in a six-way tie. So they're consistently a good school. You're thinking, why does this matter? Turns out the University of Wisconsin-Madison will now offer free tuition and fees for in-state students from households that make less than $56,000 a year.
Good for them.
The program, called Bucky's Tuition Promise, is the latest move by a major university to try and make higher education more accessible and affordable to students. I don't know if you know this, but in the last 10 years or so, college went from being super expensive to bend you over a barrel and then hit you with a glass bat full of barbed wire and explosions, and then cover the wounds in Tide Pods. That's how bad it is. Like, because now, before it was, we need to have a book. This book costs $200, right, and you're going to use it. Okay, I have to deal with it. Maybe I can get a used one for $185.
Right.
And then it switched to, well, now we're going to release a new edition of the same exact book every single year. Right. And there's going to be a special CD on the inside that you have to use for for one interactive assignment in the class. So you have to get the new book. All right, well, fine. Now there's digital codes. So if you buy it, it might just be a few sheets of paper, and then there's a code so you can unlock the book online, and then it's an online book. So they're making it so there's zero resale, and they're doing this. Before they would update the books every few years. This is the same book every year, and there's a new code. It's a one-time use code. So it's like essentially a scratch-off ticket. You put in the code. That book can no longer be used by anyone ever again. Ever. It has to be you. It can only be you. And it's probably only good for 1 year, too. So there's no longer spending $800, getting $100 back in resale at the end of the year. You can't even do that. I saw there's people posting pictures online all the time. Some of them it's just a stack of printer paper, like 200 sheets of paper. It's like, well, we 3-hole punched it for you. Right. You can put it in a binder. I'm like, that's not a book. No. You've given me a stack of papers.
Give me a pamphlet.
And you charge me $400 for a book.
A book.
That I'm not even going to use. I'll maybe use once. So with this, in-state students at UW-Madison currently pay about $10,533 a year in tuition fees. Chancellor Rebecca Blank says many low and middle income families in Wisconsin simply don't know whether they can afford to come to UW-Madison. Indeed, if you just read the popular press about student debt and skyrocketing tuition, their assumption will be that they can't. We want to make it very clear to low and moderate income families in Wisconsin that we're going to do whatever we can to make this an affordable school. Which is, I think, it's so beneficial for everyone involved to help shape the future instead of just having a bunch of dumb idiots that haven't gone to college. They can't go strictly because of money, and they can't get loans because of their financial situation is so bad. They can't get scholarships because there's a certain amount of scholarships. But this, for if you are in Wisconsin and you fall within that range, you could potentially go to school, a pretty good school, for free. Let me rephrase that. Not for free, but they will get paid the tuition and fee, which just says tuition and fees. So I don't know if that includes books or if that includes, if you live off campus or something. Like, obviously, that's probably going to have to be out of pocket. But instead of paying $10,500 a year, so instead of paying $40,000, $50,000 for an education, maybe you only pay a few thousand over 4 years. Like, you pay for room and board, you pay for food, and you pay for shit like that.
You should be able to tax deduct it. You
should be, but they're making it more and more difficult every year for people to get into college, and the ones that do are in an insane amount of debt.
Well, then that's a good thing.
So yeah, we had a good rate of light. We see it's one of the few colleges that are offering. There are other colleges that are offering similar programs, but this one is straight up committed to getting the people in state to be able to reach higher potential,
right?
As opposed to might as well farm. So
that's gonna do it for this week. Where can they find us online?
You can find us individually on Twitter at Patrick Newsom 42.
Hashtag what is the baby killer?
Hashtag what is the baby killer?
I'll be on Jeopardy next week.
Okay. At Hungry as a Bear. Hashtag boycott the baby killer.
Oh, no.
You can follow the entire DVM production empire at the DVMPE. You can find this podcast going to Facebook, going to YouTube, searching for Stupid Talking Stupid.
And you can find all the other things that we do on DVMPE.com, such as Aerocast, Flashcast, this show. You can watch some of the old ones on YouTube.
That library is slowly growing.
Yep. Slowly but surely. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week. We'll hopefully be back next week, barring any blizzards.
I think we should be good. I sure hope so, because I'm good on stuff.
It's supposed to be 60 on Monday, so.
Dude, there were chunks of ice falling off my building.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was.
You're like, move!
Well, no, yesterday I was at home. I hear these crashes. I'm like, is someone breaking into, because there's giant chunks of ice smashing into the concrete, and it sounds like a little explosion.
Right.
I didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, that's crazy, just an icicle or whatever. I get outside today, and on the bushes on either side of my front entrance, there are these chunks of ice that are just under the size of a basketball.
Right.
I'm like, these things are falling off the roof? And I'm just casually walking out, like, la, la, la.
I'm going to get a helmet.
There's water dripping on the sides. So I'm like, oh, everything's melting. This is great. And then I connected that giant object with the sound I heard yesterday. I'm like, oh, I could die.
Yeah, when I lived in New York, they used to say, watch out for falling ice. And I remember walking. I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there talking to somebody and everything like that. And then I stopped. And I sit there and I go, like, look, you don't understand. And I'm sitting there, and we're both stopped on the sidewalk. And then pretty much right about where we would have been walking, a big-ass piece of ice just, falls and crashes.
So they have signs that say, beware of falling ice?
Yeah.
You suppose now they have signs of beware fallen on ice?
But I was just like, and we kept walking, we probably would have got hit.
Jimmy fell on the ice. Yeah, no, I saw a video before of a dude walking and it was either a window pane or a giant mirror that was getting skylifted. Fell. It like grazed the side of him and he was unscathed, but like an inch to the left and he'd be sliced in half.
Yikes. On that note,
Yeah, drive safe.
yeah, right? Everybody be careful and watch out for falling ice.
And the baby killer.
That's right. Rockabye baby, bitches. But yeah,
It's got a submission. It's called The Pacifier. You're going down for nap time.
Good Lord.
I want my baba. I mean the belt.
I mean, Baba. Well, that's going to do it for this week. It's Stupid Talking Stupid. I'm Patrick.
I'm Bear.
And we'll talk to you later.